So we're just going to jump into things here. I'm going to assume that you've listened to the first episode and you know basically what this is and who I am and why this is going on and everything. So if you haven't, go back and listen to that one. Because otherwise this may not make a whole lot of sense. Or maybe it will. It's, you know what? It's your life. You do what you want. I'm just gonna kind of jump into things here. I did the meet and greet. You know, you'll learn more about me as we go anyway. So I don't really need to orchestrate a whole bunch of different things that I think are important because maybe they're not, and maybe they are, and maybe they'll just happen when they're important anyway. So last night, so I'm in a relationship, you know, normal stuff. Last night, how do I put it? So my boyfriend came to me and it was all like, have you heard of, what is it, Jordan Peterson? This is his name. And I for a moment was like, yeah, you know, the name sounds familiar. And then I remembered, oh, it's that guy. And no, I don't really like him. But he does sometimes say things that sound true. It's the thing that apparently this clip that my boyfriend was bringing to me was this clip about how if you're a man and you're jealous of your woman like going out and looking good, that if you keep saying things to her over time, you are punishing her for being beautiful. And then, you know, 10, 20 years down the road, you look at her and you're like, oh, you really let yourself go. And he, you know, poses that it's your fault as the guy that told her that she, you know, that she was going to get punished every time she was beautiful. And there's some truth to it. I don't like the place where he's coming from, where it sounds really a lot like the man is now the molder of the woman. Like, the woman has autonomy there. That's not the only response to that. They could also, and it was a clip, so maybe he went into further detail. I don't know. We had a little bit of a tiff about that because I don't really like Jordan Peterson and what he stands for, but the concept of the environment around a woman, and it's not just the partner doing it, but the environment around a woman shaming her for being beautiful, but also shaming her for not being beautiful, it's very complex and it's very pressing. And, you know, we got into a little bit of an argument about Jordan Peterson, and then we switched and we're like, forget him, let's just talk about the concept. And we talked about the concept and kind of got not quite into an argument, but sort of a place where we didn't quite agree, where like I was saying that in order for the woman to respond that way, she has to come with insecurities. And from his point of view, he was like, well, what if, you know, I've been in a relationship where the girl was abusive, the woman was abusive, and she didn't care about what the man thought, but she would do, you know, she would tone down how she was dressing just to shut him up. And I'm like, well, that still comes from a place of insecurity, because abusers are like the most insecure people. You don't abuse somebody, you don't try to control another person unless you are insecure with your own self. Like, you controlling yourself makes you feel more secure, and you don't need to control outside, because the inside environment inside of your own mind is stable and healthy, and that's just how it goes. And, you know, we kind of went back and forth, and I guess we kind of settled on that, like, okay, maybe there's a case scenario where you do not, like, if you don't look deep enough into it and you look at a very superficial aspect of the interaction, then sure, you can say that it didn't involve insecurity, but if you dig deep enough, you will find that decision to change herself based on shutting him up is going to be rooted in insecurity somewhere. Like because she wants to control his responses, his actions by doing this thing, and that by definition is abuse because you're trying to control somebody else by doing something, and therefore that's and like why wouldn't she do something? Why wouldn't she take her autonomy to do something else? And that's the issue that started this. Okay, so if you excuse me, if you're at a part where like that's an issue that you need to like mull over, this is a good time to pause, because like I went beyond that afterwards. After we settled on, okay, you know, we can agree to this point that like maybe it's a superficial thing, and like you wouldn't know the insecurity part of the abuser because they don't talk to you about it, because they're so insecure they can't talk to people about what's actually going on inside of themselves. So we kind of stopped there, and we're like, okay, we can assume we can get that, and we, you know, got back into the whole like I love you, and like let's talk about if this has ever happened with us, and kind of went back and forth. And then we separated for, you know, a little while to do our own things. And I really thought about it. And I realized that I had done that. I had, early on in our relationship, he was really insecure because of his previous relationships with people who cheated on him. And he never told me, like, to not wear things. He was always like, I want you to always wear whatever it is you want to wear. But when I wore something that looked sexy, looked good on me, and we were going out somewhere, he would like physically get disturbed. And even if he didn't say anything, which a lot of times he didn't say anything, it was just clear that he was very uncomfortable with me looking like that and us going out. And I don't know where, like, it wasn't just one decision. It was each time that happened, I felt like it was an affront to my love for him to keep putting him through that, to keep making it like that's like it was pitting my feeling sexy against his very real pain. And I was like, you know, I think during the process it was sort of one of those things where like, okay, well eventually he will feel more secure in the relationship, and then I can get back to it, and I can wear the things that I want to wear without worrying about it. But that's not what happened. What happened was he got more secure in the relationship, and I forgot what it was like to be confident enough to dress that way. And that's not his fault. I'm not going to say that he had any control over that. That was purely within me. They were my decisions, and they were my reactions and responses to it. But it's really interesting. I never saw that. They were minor decisions, little things where I was like, it's not that important for me to show my cleavage. When I compare that to my partner's comfort and my ability to show that I care about their feelings and how they're responding to things, I don't know what to do about that. Like, I don't think anybody did anything wrong here. He felt the way he felt. He couldn't change the way he felt. I don't want anyone to think that in that situation, that if you're the guy in that situation, that you should just shove it down, because that communication was absolutely crucial to the development of the rest of our relationship to get to the secure place that it is today. But I don't think I did anything wrong either in deciding in each moment which one of those two things was more important to me. It's just that now I'm in a situation where it's no longer the more important option to dress more conservatively, but I don't have the confidence to do anything else. I've backed myself into this corner, and getting out is difficult. So that's my thought for this one. I mean, I just jumped right in. So, if if this is a lot for you, you may not want to listen to the rest of them. But if you enjoyed this and the thought provoking that it may have provoked, sounded dumb, but whatever. If you enjoyed the thoughts that this may have provoked, you may like the next one. I hope I see you in the next time.